what's up guys, how you doing today? Welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. In today's video I'm going to talk about first expenses in Canada. Not my expenses, your expenses. As you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I've been in Canada for about 6 years now in total, so I'm pretty much settled, but it wasn't always like that. And this video is going to be informational. It's going to help you out a lot because I'm going to tell you how much things cost and how much you should be expecting to spend if you're planning to immigrate here. You need a place to stay, and if you've seen one of those people posting their video on YouTube channel, their first ever house in Canada, where they go and they buy themselves a big bungalow that's probably about 600 or 500, at least $600,000, that's probably not their first house in Canada, because it's really difficult to buy that at the first house. Reality is this, guys: majority of new immigrants first would buy a cheaper place, for example a condo or a duplex. All I'm saying is people are not going to be buying $600,000 unless they can afford it. Now, if you're looking at this video right now from your home country, grab your calculator and calculate how much money you're going to have to pay for a down payment. As a first-time home buyer, down payment in Canada is 5% of the initial amount. So if you're planning to buy a $600,000 house, you have to have $30,000 available on your bank account for that initial down payment for the bank. Not everyone has that amount. $30,000 if you sold your properties back home. I don't know how much money you have, but not everyone does have that down payment. And also you have to be able to afford the following payments for your mortgage, for your principal amount, monthly payment that you have to pay to the bank, because banks here are really good in taking away properties and kicking out the new home buyers if they're not paying their bills. So what would your monthly payment be, you would ask me on this channel, because I already mentioned it. Well, I'll tell you this, guys, it's closer, you have to have closer to $3,000 of available income to spend just for the housing if you're buying something close to $600,000. Depending on your property taxes, depending on the interest rate, it could be different. But also you have to add the internet bill, the electricity, the hydropower. You know, you have to add all of those expenses on top of your payments. All I'm saying is that to be able to afford that kind of place, you have to have a really good job with a really good income. Unless you're coming to Canada already with a contract for a really good paying, high paying job, then probably you'll be fine. There is also this thing that's called credit history. Now, as a new immigrant, you don't have any credit history, and there are some banks that have special promotions for new immigrants. They're going to help you out by giving you probably a higher interest. They have their own, game to make sure that they make more money on you as a new immigrant, and also that, that they make sure they don't lose their property or anything. So bank always wins, regardless of what you're trying to play in Canada. Bank always wins, and you need to have one out of two. And that's usually money and more money. Let's be realistic here. Probably you're going to end up like, if you're an average immigrant, I'm not talking one of those small percentage of very rich ones that just go and buy a property for cash, go and buy a $600,000 or $1 million house for cash. There are some people like that, but we are talking about realistic immigrants, those people who are above average class in their home country, those people who can afford to come to Canada. Because let's be honest here, those guys who are extremely rich, they do not need to go to another country to succeed. They are already successful back home. Why would they give up what they have to come to a better country? Majority of apartments here in Canada, houses, apartments, they are empty inside. You go to one bedroom, another bedroom, master, where you go into your living room and everything is empty. There is a toilet, there is a sink to wash your hands, there is a shower, there is a refrigerator, there's no microwave most of the times, there is a refrigerator, there is a stove, there are cabinets in the kitchen, but everything else is empty. You need to buy a bed, you need to buy a mattress and all the bed sheets, pillows and everything. There is no Sometimes there is no place to keep your clothes, so you have to buy like a cabinet, like a closet, to store all of those things. There is no table, a dining table. You need to buy a dining table. There is no couch. There is no TV. There is nothing there. You have to buy a TV, table, couch, curtains, kitchen utilities, spoons, fork, and everything. All of that stuff temporarily. It's going to cost you, a new immigrant, at least to start with, $5,000 to, get your basics into your apartment, unless you want to live as an empty place. And that's how many immigrants end up living in an empty place. Just there is a bed, there is a table, and then slowly as money comes from the income, they start buying more stuff. But there is also this game that's very important. You want to buy something temporary that is cheap and going to solve your temporary needs, and then just go and garbage it and update it to something that you're going to live in, or go ahead and buy something expensive and something good so your family can stay in it. So the expenses, just let me give you an example. Just prices here in Canada. If you want to renovate your kitchen, you want to put the new cabinets, let's say you bought a property, right, for cash, you're a rich person, you want to buy the new cabinets. The kitchen is going to cost you anywhere around $15,000 to change all of those cabinets. The furniture in your house, if you're going to rent, it's going to be at least $5,000 and more, depending on how much stuff you want to buy and how much is enough. If you're coming here by yourself or with your kids and family, if you have kids and you want to raise a family in a good place, it's going to be more expensive. You also want to buy a car, because this country, it's difficult to get around. It gets real cold, minus 30, minus 40 cold in winter. It sucks to be on public transport, and you want to take your kids to school. Majority of Canadians have their own means of transportations, their cars and everything. So what I'm saying is, you want to buy a car. And you're probably thinking, what's the price for the car? I'll tell you this, guys, it depends on your budget. Once again, a bad car you can buy for $2,000. A really bad car that's probably going to break down. I'll tell you this, my first car was about $3,200. We purchased Toyota Echo when it was back then maybe 4 years ago. Right now, if you want to buy a good car, well, it's going to cost you a little bit more. I would say that an okay car, like a cheapish car, old car, maybe $6,000. But if you want to buy something reliable, something decent, in a good condition, it's going to be probably closer to $12,000. In many videos, I'm really optimistic. On this video, I just want to be a little bit realistic, guys. Now, let's calculate all of this together. Where's my calculator here? I have my phone, my calculator. Just put some digits together. You're buying a car. Okay, you're buying a house. You need to put $30,000 down payment, right? $30,000, just remember this. Now, the car, $12,000. You're buying furniture for your house. Let's say you spend $6,000. Let's put $6,000 for some furniture, then $30,000 for your down payment, $12,000 for your car. You need like $48,000, let's say $50,000 to settle up in Canada as your initial investments. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. But you're coming here for a better life. And I'll tell you this, guys, I didn't have enough money for the down payment when I came to this country. I didn't have enough money to buy a place. I didn't have enough money for furniture. I didn't have enough money to buy a car. All I had is enough money for my studying here and to graduate. And then I had probably closer around $5,000 as a backup, just in case I'm not going to be able to make it. I came to Calgary with nothing that just by some of my clothes and my hard-working ass. That's what I had with me in Calgary, and that's how I settled here. Now, owning one property, in process of buying another property, and I have 2 cars as well. One of them is paid off, the other one is on lease, so it's not technically mine yet, but if I want to, I can buy it right now, buy it out any moment. All I'm saying is that don't be discouraged by this video. If you're starting to calculate, this video is just to give you an idea, and I'm a perfect example of a person who came here with nothing and made something out of himself. So you're going to be able to do the same. There is no problem with that. Just don't expect everything on your first year. Don't expect to come to this country and get everything, because it's not ready made for anyone. It's really tough unless you have enough money. If you have $50,000, go ahead and buy everything you need. Remember this, you have to pay your payments still. Let's talk a little bit about bills, because even if you have $50,000 and you don't have a job, that might not be enough. Internet, I'll give you as my example, approximately $80 a month. Then cell phone, approximately, well, I have 2 cell phones, me and my wife, so altogether $120 for cell phone. For 2 lines, sometimes 1 cell phone can be same price. My operator is cheaper. I can make a separate video on cell phones to tell you more in detail. Leave a comment on that. You also have to pay your electrical bills. For example, you're paying for the apartment about $120, but if you're living in a house, be prepared to pay closer to $300 in summer and closer to $600 in winter for your heating and electrical, water, and all of those, all of those bills. If you are going to be renting a place and you're going to pay in all of your utilities. Also, be prepared to pay for gas for your car. The prices here are good right now. In Alberta, it's $1 per 1 liter, and it was below $1. It was above $1, so it fluctuates. Like every day, the price is different. Say $1. I spend right now about approximately maybe $40-50 a week, so about $200 a month for gas, about $70 for my gym membership. I go to YMCA, and there is I used to go to Golds, and I used to go to Good Life Fitness. There are many options if you can get a deal, but also there might be some sign-up fees, like $100 or $200 just to get your gym membership, and then a contract that you cannot cancel for like 2-3 years, depends on what you get. Same thing, however, is there for the cell phone. Okay, I have a guest speaker here, guys. This is my cat. She is a little bit camera shy, but I'll tell you this, if you are like me and you're a pet lover, cat lover, cats also cost you a little bit, about $20 for a cat license in a year. All the cat food, it's not expensive, viscous and stuff, it's pretty cheap, cat litter, but it adds up. If you need to take your cat for injections to a doctor, be prepared to spend more, like vaccinations, $120. But that's like one time in several years. But also the food, all of that stuff, it's pretty expensive. You're going to be surprised how much you have to pay, like for a veterinary doctor here in Canada. It's insane. And if you're going for vacation, like I do, be prepared to pay for a cat hotel, maybe closer to $20 a day, $15, $20, $25, depends on how you want to get a luxury room for your cat. A room is a square box where the cat is going to be waiting for you until you're back from your vacation. Did I miss anything? Just have to check my credit card bill and I'll tell you more expenses. There is also, you have to pay your credit card, of course. You need to use your credit card in Canada to build your credit history. I never used to do that in Ukraine, but in Canada you have to use your credit card to build that score, so you're going to get a mortgage, so you can buy a house, so you can buy a car. Also, you have to pay for your insurance. If you're buying a house, you need to buy a house insurance. If you're buying a condo, you need a condo insurance, like for an apartment, for the property. You also have to pay for your car. There are provinces where you will pay for your car maybe $500, $400, $600 insurance, depending how young you are and what kind of coverage you want to get for your car. In Ontario, I heard in Toronto it's ridiculously expensive. Here in Calgary, I pay right now for one car about $300, for another car I pay $200, so about $500 a month just for insurance, car insurance, full coverage, but it's still too expensive. Groceries are not too expensive, but as a family, if you are having a big family, be prepared to spend closer to $250 a week for your groceries if you have a big family. Of course, people are going to criticize me right now in comments saying you can live for less. That's true, but it depends on what kind of quality of food you want to eat. If you want to eat junk, if you are like, Ukrainian student, international student, coming coming to Canada and only eating sausages and and pasta with ketchup, then you can, of course, it's going to be very cheap. But if you want to eat vitamins and fruits and meat and everything, whatever is healthy for your kids and for your family, that's going to be closer to $200 to $50. That's what other people spend. I'm not telling my numbers because you know what, actually, if I tell you my numbers, I would get closer to $200 a week as well. Okay, now I want to tell you a little bit about income, so you understand a little bit more about Canada. If you put all of the numbers that I told you together, and I want to advise you too that probably I forgot at least 5 things that I'm paying for right now in this video. I just have to check my credit card, and then then it's going to be Amazon Prime, then it's going to be it's going to be Netflix, it's going to be at least 5 more things that I forgot to tell you that I'm paying for. There's lots of expenses here in Canada. Now calculate how much money you need to earn to cover all of that expenses. And I'll tell you right now, one person working in a family is not going to do that. It's really expensive unless you are going to get like a senior management position where you're going to be a director of something, making at least 6 digits salary, maybe $100,000, $200,000, then maybe you are going to be able to afford it. But of course, as more you make, the more taxes you pay. Don't forget that in Canada. But all I'm saying is, it takes 2 people to work to be able to afford the things that you want to afford. And by working by yourself, your entire salary can go away just to pay off a mortgage, car, insurance, and there might be nothing left behind to save. But all of us living here in Canada, we all want to save up at least something so we can go for vacation, so we have at least something to leave behind in our own pocket, guys. In our own pocket there has to be something left after all of the bills we pay, and it is very, very difficult to do that if only one person is working. It's easier if it's 2 people. So be prepared. If you don't have that amount of money, if you're coming here, be prepared to have 2 people working to cover this kind of expenses. How much money do you need with you when you're coming to Canada? I'll tell you this: if you're planning to buy a house, a house with a down payment, and then you want to cover all of your living expenses, your temporary expenses, be prepared that, as I said, closer to $50,000 to put the down payment and furnish your house. But as well, you need to be able to afford your initial payments until you get a job if you don't already have one. So at least half a year or 1 year of expenses. It's better to have 6 months of expenses available to you. And what is 6 months in Canada? Well, I would say it's better to have at least $30,000 on your bank account as extra to what you're planning to spend. So if you're planning to come here, buy a place with a down payment, furnish that place, put all the furniture, settle down, buy a cheap $12,000 car. That's about what I'm driving right now. Okay, my car, Subaru, I bought it for $12,500 plus all the fees, and about $16,000 altogether to pay it off. But that is the expenses, guys. Be prepared to pay off maybe $50,000 and then to be able to live half a year while you're searching for a job with that amount. It's better the more you have, the better, but have at least 30 more. So what I'm saying is $80,000 would be a really good amount to have it. But if you're like me, came here with your, hard-working butt and no money, don't worry about it. Just don't expect to get everything in your first year. It will take you some years, some hard work to get the right job, to accumulate the right amount of wealth, to be able to afford what you really dream and that you really want to afford. Why am I making this video? Well, there were a couple of my friends, people who kept on saying, Igor, you have to be realistic with your subscribers. Give them the real numbers. Stop saying all the positive things. Say things how they are, and so that people are prepared when they're coming here. I'll tell you this, there are many rich people coming to Canada who can afford whatever they want. Not everyone is that rich. Not everyone can settle as well as those guys, but there are lots of people who really scramble. They are really struggling to get to where they are. But there are also lots of people who, despite of all of those challenges, they are very positive. They get through it. They become successful in a new country, and they succeed. Rome was not built in one day, as they say. What a lot of people say that thing here, and same thing we say in Ukraine. It was not built in one day. It will take you some time. I'm not coming from a rich family. I'm not coming from wealthy, successful people in Ukraine or nothing at all like that. So I lived in the basement. I lived in an apartment. I rented a room, and I changed 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 addresses before I ended up here, buying my own property. And it took me 2 years while I own this property to be able to afford a second one. So that's my story, guys. I hope this video is going to be helpful for you. Please do leave comments. I want to read your comments and find out what your struggles are, what you think about this video. What did I forget to mention? And please do help all those guys in the comments that are asking questions about Canada. I am there to help you, but sometimes I just cannot answer every single question, or I don't have that information. Make sure you share with each other and help each other, because we are here, after all, a community, and this channel is meant to help people. Alright, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a good one. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel to see more, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one, guys. Bye for now.